Greetings. Hope you're doing well. Let's talk about PMDD or premenstrual dysmorphic disorder, however you want to call it, PMS as well. PMDD being like the hardest form, let's say, of it. So, histamine and PMDD are very, very, very much related. So, people that come from Lyme, mast cell activation syndrome, as it's understandable, we have it kind of worse in that area. Yeah. But basically, if you struggle with histamine and PMDD, you're not alone at all. Many people don't realize that histamine, a compound involved in allergies and inflammation, can also influence mood, cramps, you know, make you anxious like hell and create a million other symptoms, gut issues. So understanding the connection between histamine and PMDD could be the missing piece in managing your monthly symptoms. Because again, you go through the period, which in many cases is hell. You get the pain there, whatever. The days post period, usually as estrogen rises, can be hard for some women too, is if you have these problems. Then you hit the few days before ovulation. Usually, at least for me, these are the golden ones. Then you hit ovulation, boom, again. Um, yeah. And then obviously you start into the luteal phase, and then, you might have a few good days just before that, and that's that. So obviously we cannot live like this. I mean, this is a reflection of really, truly. I mean, women are the ones that are, we should be the raiders. We have to, we bring life into this planet. Therefore, it's normal that we are like, alarms into what's happening, that, we can no longer live this way, that the world is incredibly toxic and that we need to change something. So when mostly all women are having problems with this, I'm not just talking about the brutality with the extra, Lyme disease collapse thing I had, which is insane. I'm talking about just this. Uh, it should be talked about. Something must be done, right? So TLDR, histamine, PMDD. Histamine can worsen PMDD, obviously. It stores estrogen rises histamine while lowering the enzyme DAO. DAO is an enzyme that clears histamine in your gut, amplifying mood swings, headaches, cramps, and inflammation. Antihistamines might help. Some women find relief with things like loratadine, famotidine, but resolves barrier, and this is not a solution anyway. The reason why is, why on earth is your estrogen, even if it's low as well, a bit higher than progesterone, which naturally lowers up to 35 especially, and what can be done about it, and why is your liver not clearing it, and so on and on. So you can use all the natural ones, like saffron, bacopa, zinc. Yeah. So how does histamine trigger PMDD symptoms in the luteal phase? Histamine is a neurotransmitter, an immune system messenger that helps to manage inflammatory responses, inflammation, digestion, and hormone regulation. So, for those with histamine intolerance, the body struggles to break down histamine efficiently, leading to an overload of histamine that can contribute to worsened PMDD symptoms, or cause them basically, as well as symptoms of endometriosis, PMS, and other inflammatory conditions that come from the same root cause, which is inflammation and a terrain that is overloaded with toxins, nervous systems on fire, and you cannot all this in that. So yeah, key ways it worsens mood, cramps, and inflammation. Women with PMDD often notice that PMDD symptoms are most pronounced during the luteal phase of their cycle. So estrogen increases histamine. Yeah, that's the main thing. So the problem is, like, it's a loop, a really, really, really hard loop to break. So during the luteal phase, the week before your period, fluctuating estrogen can trigger histamine release, leading to mood swings, headaches, wanting to throw something into your partner, or if you have one, or, whatever it is, kids, yeah. Irritability, discomfort, yeah. This is especially true when progesterone is not sufficient to challenge the estrogen present. So this is like a big one, When you're inflammation or you come from inflammatory diseases, I find it again very useful to use progesterone creams, which, by the way, how on earth at least in Europe, are there. So I've been trying to create my own one, to be honest. Um, yeah, and to help all of you also be helped by it. But please, if anyone knows about all these and laws and how it could possibly be done, because, I'm not good in that area, we need that. And progesterone creams, bioidentical progesterone creams, are life saving. You can find them in America easily, but here, oh my God, they are really hard to find, and very few brands are doing it, and they are usually, yeah, they are hard to find, let's say. So, histamine and inflammation. Increased histamine contributes to systemic inflammation, which can exacerbate cramps, bloating, and fatigue. Histamine amplifies PMS symptoms too, like anxiety, insomnia, migraines, can be intensified when histamine is high, meaning that women without PMDD but who deal with symptoms can also be affected by histamine. And again, it's not just histamine. Mast cells release other inflammatory mediators, prostaglandins, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah. And then histamine promotes more estrogen. So, there you go. When estrogen elevates histamine, the histamine increases estrogen in a vicious cycle. So, the current working theory is that estrogen is the primary driver of histamine issues, in most cases PMDD, and the elevated histamine then perpetuates rising estrogen levels. This is very important to stop, otherwise, you're trapped in a loop. And even if you're trying to come from that loop, this is the reason why there are so many women with this inflammation, which they put different names to it. It doesn't matter. This is what's happening from toxicity, from gut issues, or just simply because there's low level inflammation. So when progesterone starts lowering after 35, women, have like boom, we should not live this way, no matter what age we are. We shouldn't. And there has to be a solution. I mean, I'm not happy enough considering I survived Neuroline, Bartonella, all this from the same immune collapse, and I, spent a decade healing. I want to be fine. And one thing is like, yeah, you might have it understandably as a natural cycle, moments where you have more energy, less. This is natural, naturally being a woman, and but this is one thing, and the rest of symptoms are another that make you miserable. Basically, we should not live that way. So it is not normal. Let's say. So is histamine a hormone or a neurotransmitter in PMDD? So histamine is not a hormone, it's a biogenic enemy that acts as a neurotransmitter and plays a crucial role in immune response, digestion, brain function. However, histamine interacts with hormones, particularly estrogen, which can influence its levels and effect in the body. As in the case of PMDD, the histamine hormone connection is why some individuals experience histamine related symptoms during hormonal fluctuations, such as the luteal phase, around ovulation, perimenopause, or during fertility treatments. And this is not normal again. This is the result of inflammation. And in some women that go, having all these diseases, inflammatory toxicity diseases, sometimes that estrogen is low, but it's higher than the progesterone. Therefore, it's causing trouble anyway, even if your adrenals are crushed, which is usually another problem. So, understanding that while histamine is not a hormone, it can both influence hormones and be influenced by them is an important component of addressing PMDD in those who have histamine sensitivity or histamine intolerance, or however you want to call it. So, yeah. So, basically, common symptoms would be rage, like, I mean, no wonder they call women mad because of this. But again, we are not. This is the reason why. And it's just shameful once again that all this is unknown because, yeah. And also, they should take man and tell them about this and explain them all this. Um, I wish there was more information in that area because it would make things a lot easier. When you're in a bad trip, but you tell your friend, hey, I'm not feeling well, and you feel a lot safer, therefore you're not suffering that much. Yeah, same thing. So headaches, migraines around your period and ovulation, anxiety, irritability, mood swings, especially during the luteal phase, the 5-10 days leading to your period, especially more sensitivity like hives, eczema, digestive symptoms, bloating, diarrhea, nausea, sensitivity to high histamine foods like eggs, aged cheeses, fermented foods, or wine. So, yeah. um, obviously using antihistamines, natural or not, can be a relief, but again, is a relief, not a solution. And we should find ways into fixing all that. I would look first of all into gut and liver, and there's something called estroblome, which is a part that basically also makes estrogen in your gut. Um, Things like SIBO, dysbiosis, all this. You need to look into all these things, and obviously, if you have all the things going on, because it will depend on the level in which the terrain crashed, and the body starts making compensatory things, parasites, mold, all these things. And then once all this, or you think all this is sorted, find out what's going on with your liver, or your stress levels and support and all these things, and make your, especially insulin resistance, that's a big one with this. Sort out all these things, and what's left maybe is just an overwhelmed liver. Then work on the liver until you reach an equilibrium, comfortable enough to live your life without having to just live 1 week a month without all this crap at different levels. um, these symptoms have many different levels. At the highest one, which is what I lived with Lyme disease, it's absolutely unbelievable, and you cannot function in any form or way. I don't have words to describe what you can, but things like depersonalization, they really, all these sort of things are caused by this inflammation. When there is mast cell activation syndrome happening in the brain and nervous system, things are horrible, especially with women and this combo. So, hold on tight. Uh, so yeah, and meanwhile, I find very useful to use the progesterone, bioidentical progesterone. It will depend again on the inflammation you have and many things, no? But first, you're gonna have to address all this toxicity, or in fact, whatever it is, all of it, and then go for terrain, lifestyle, all this until you reach a point in which it no longer bothers you, which is hard because it creates this loop. I'm also working on this. It's like the last, remember, reproduction would be like the last thing that the body cares about when you come from something so big. Um, but yeah, and for women that didn't have, don't have Lyme disease or whatever, same thing, no? We should not be living this way. But there is such a lack of information, and obviously, conventional medicine, it's a disaster in many ways, apart from emergencies and other things. Um, but in this kind of things, especially woman hormones, all this is just not, I mean, non-existent and dangerous, very dangerous. So it's better to be informed, to know what to do, to know your body, and same thing. For people around you to also know all these kind of things is going to be very useful too. And yeah, so that'll be it. Thanks for watching. If you are suffering from this and PMDD and all this crap, or you come from Lyme disease and this join the party, uh, something must be done. We can get out of this cycle of hell, and also use it as a detector of how your body is, your environment is, and hopefully the people around you and support also be educated about it, so this is respected, right? So thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.